Hey, Curio travelers, welcome to Thursday Travel Chat, Curio Conversations, where luxury lifestyle meets cultural immersion in quick weekly moments designed to elevate the way we explore the world. Today's conversation is something that is really at the heart of the travel curio. We're going to talk about traveling or traveling with curiosity, but cultural travel. The topic specifically is when travel becomes something more. Again, when travel becomes something more. Some places simply land different. They do. And it's not because they're more luxurious or beautiful, not because they have better hotels or better food, but those things certainly don't hurt in the journey, right? However, there are some places that stay with us because of how they make us feel and give us more than a change of scenery. Sometimes it gives us connection, recognition, and perspective. Heavy on that recognition, heavy on that perspective, heavy on connection too. Hmm. Sometimes it gives us a deeper understanding of ourselves, a moment of reflection. I think, and that's me, that's why certain destinations resonate so deeply with people. Not necessarily because they're trending or they're on your bucket list, even though I hope that some of these places are on your bucket list, but or cultural locations are on your bucket list. But truthfully, this type of travel speaks to something much bigger, something greater. Some travelers feel like they might be standing in a place and feeling connected to family history. For others, it might be experiencing a culture that feels both familiar and completely new at the same time. And for many people, especially travelers who value culture, heritage, and community, there is something powerful about visiting a place where the stories feel personal. Mhm. So you might say, Angela, what are those places? Well, I tell you, there are places like Ghana, definitely Ghana, places like Cartagena, Colombia, places like Brazil, and specifically maybe Bahia, Brazil, right? San Salvador, Brazil. Places even like Paris, when viewed through the lens of the Black experience. There's a whole history there about the African diaspora, about the African American experience too. Each of these destinations, they're different. Each story is different, yet they share something in common. They remind us that travel can be about more than sightseeing, more than shopping, more about, well, let's just leave it there. It can be about understanding history, understanding culture, understanding how people have shaped and influenced the world in ways that are not necessarily discussed in a classroom or even guidebooks, whether back in the day or even today. And speaking of that, I'm gonna, age myself out as that generation. What are we? Generation X, y'all. Remember when they had those door-to-door salesmen who had that black encyclopedia that was way too high, but your mama bought it anyway because there was something for you to learn in there? That was one of my favorite books. Favorite books. And yes, it was purchased because she knew that I wasn't going to learn this in the classroom. Nope. But I learned it right there in our living room. Perhaps I digress. Let me get back to the subject. So let's have this enter into the conversation. These places, They are simply what I would coin the gifts of travel. It allows us to move beyond the headlines and the stereotypes, because y'all know them stereotypes are out there. It helps us go beyond what we've heard and what we think and what we think we know. Nothing gets my goat more. That people say, I heard that they do this, and I heard it was like this. If you can, listen. Nothing is greater than experiencing a place for ourselves. Again, nothing is greater than experiencing a place for ourselves. Culture isn't something you simply read about. It's different when you experience it, when you hear the music, when you taste the food, when you see it in the art, in the conversations. You walk through the neighborhoods, you go through the markets, you visit the museum, and even if you have the chance to, you go to the places of worship, those everyday moments. Sometimes those moments become the memories that stay with us the longest. Not necessarily the famous landmarks, but the conversation that these places give you. That is the story. It is indeed the unexpected connection. The feeling of belonging somewhere, even if only for a little while, for a little while, is something I really honestly, y'all can't explain it until you do it for yourself. Perhaps now, more than ever, cultural travel continues to resonate, not only resonate, but it's very important that we continue to do. It's very important to so many people. At its best, cultural travel reminds us that the world is both incredibly diverse and surprisingly connected. I don't think I said that with enough emphasis that I should. The world is incredibly diverse and surprisingly connected. I needed to go back and put some respect on those words. It's very important in cultural travel. Our stories intersect more than we realize through cultural, which we can discover through cultural travel. Out there's new things that you can learn. There's always something new that you can learn with cultural travel. And this is where curiosity remains one of the greatest gifts we can carry with us. Y'all know I love that word curiosity. Hello, the travel curio. And so when we travel with curiosity, we return with more than those photographs. We return with perspective, understanding, memories, and sometimes we return with pieces of ourselves we didn't even know we were looking for. So, as you think about your future travels, and I'm not saying the put aside the fun travel, the relaxing travel. But for some of your future travel, I encourage you to ask yourself a different question. Not simply, where do I want to go? But also ask yourself, what do I want to understand? What culture do I want to experience? What stories do I want to learn? Remember that experiences stay with us long after we've unpacked our suitcase. And for some of us, unpacking our suitcase takes a while, right? But very often, these are places, that we've been talking about. And I didn't dive into the actual culture, but hey, I talked about some very specific locations. I talked about Ghana. I talked about Cartagena, Colombia. I talked about Bahia, Brazil. And I even talked, because it's very popular with so many people, the dream of getting to Paris, but experiencing Paris through the lens of the Black experience. Because these are the ones that are rooted in culture, connection, and discovery. This is when travel becomes something more. If you're watching this on Facebook, I love to hear from you. What destination has given you the deepest sense of connection of cultural understanding that you have been to date? Or better yet, that you would love to experience? Leave a comment and let's join in on that conversation. If you're watching on YouTube, forget to like, share, subscribe, and leave a comment, please. So until that time, I'll see you, or until next week, I'll see you for another Curio conversation. Have an amazing morning, day, or evening. Take care.